So I'm having a chat with Ryan of the K's. How are you?
Oh, good, mate. How are you?
Good, yeah, not too bad. We've been playing a new single of yours called The Bends. Here we go
Yeah.
again. Tell us a bit about the single, first of all.
So it's like Jamie brought it in. Jamie wrote it about a story when he was growing up. Jamie was like hospitalized quite seriously when he was growing up and had some things going on. So it's kind of like a story about his experiences with that. And yeah, it kind of started out as one of the songs that we all loved, but then since we went and recorded it in the studio, it then became like half the band's fit. Like a lot of the people in the bands, it's their favorite now. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of become like a band favorite, and then yeah, I think it's fan favorite at the minute. Everyone loves it.
Good, good. And that is coming off your new record, Pretty on the Internet, which is out June 27th. What can we expect to hear on the record?
A bit of a wide range, yeah, to be honest. It's a bit more like we've we've kind of like developed the sound a little bit. I think naturally in any sort of walk of life, you get better at what you're doing. And I'm not going to compare it to album one, but it's like, I don't know, it's like a bit more of a developed sound. There's ballads on there, there's slow songs, there's fast songs, there's sort of the in-between stuff. Yeah, we're buzzing with it, and we're like, it turned out, yeah, it was like better than we expected, so we can't wait to get it out.
Good, yeah, good. And the sound that you made with this record, was it the sound you wanted, or is it kind of how it turned out in the studio?
A little bit of both. So we had a good idea on what we wanted to do going into the studio. So we spent in between a manic touring schedule. We was in the our little studio, sort of demoing and getting them as close as possible as we could. But then we worked with the producer Jim Lowe on this album, who's a brilliant producer, and he sort of brought his twist on things as well. And we did think like we recorded the album in different ways and used different techniques and sort of equipment and things like that. So it kind of all contributed to to the sound of the album. There's sort of classic sounds on there, and then there's new sounds that we've experienced with. So
Yeah, nice. And I'm sure you wrote more than what made it onto this record. What happens to those now? Do you consider them again down the line, or is it a case
yeah, I
of
think
binning them off and starting again?
no, I mean they'll always sort of be considered down the line. Like for example, there's a song on this album that didn't quite make album one because of the time constraints, and now it's on this album, and there's a twist on that song. Sort of when people hear it, they'll realize what the twist is. So it's kind of like, yeah, I think they'll never be parked and forgotten about. There's always a place, but I think there's a time and a place for certain songs, and yeah, they'll reappear, no doubt.
Good, good. And I'd like to talk about the writing side of things as well. So for you guys, how do the tracks normally start off?
So for this album, he pulled it out of the bag because we got told about the album. Like we dropped album one, and then a few months later, we knew album two was going to be announced. So it was like, and we was just in the height of festival season, and then we went on tour after festival season. So we got back at like, I think the day before Christmas Eve, we got back, and it was like, right, we need the album delivered by February. So during that process, since we got notified from the album, Jamie did a lot of it, like written the sort of lyrics and stuff, and then in between tours, we were trying to get in the room as much as we can, our rehearsal room, and like track down drums, bass, guitars, and whatnot, and try and pull the songs together and put like the case twist on it. So I think that was kind of the process for this, and luckily we just about hit the deadline because it got pulled forward and everyone was pulling their hair out. But yeah, we managed to pull it out, and everyone's absolutely buzzing with it.
Good, good. And at what point do you get involved? If Jamie kind of writes the main bit, how involved do you get in finishing the track and adding your bits as well?
Yeah, so there's like obviously guitar parts, like instrumentals and things like that. Like there's a couple of instrumentals on the album which I absolutely love them because it's like not kind of like experimenting, but during that process, it's kind of like let's try a load of things and which sounds sort of great. There was no kind of like pure vision of this is how it's going to sound. So I think that was quite cool on doing them type of bits. And I think yeah, musically, I think once we're in the room and all coming together, like someone will just do something like you'll play something on a guitar and they'll be like, that sounds mint. Like let's like build around that, or we'll do something on a synth that sounds mint. Let's build around that, and then that can change another element in the song. So it's kind of like an ongoing process, and I think them contributions all kind of come out, and it's the K's album. So.
Yeah, yeah, good. And you mentioned there's instrumentals on the record. What's the reason behind doing that? Because not many bands tend to do that.
Well, no, not so much instrumentals. And what I mean by instrumentals, I mean like, I don't know, guitar solos or like outros or
Mm.
little sort of like musical parts in between the song, in between like verses, choruses, and all that type of stuff. I mean, that's what I meant by instrumentals. Um, but yeah, I think it's just interesting to sort of have those little moments on the album where it's not all the same sort of rigid format.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. And considering album two's come quite quickly after album one, have you thought about album three yet?
It's in the back of our minds. Just I think naturally because of how fast album one came around to album two, we're like, right, what if this happens again? We've got album
Yeah.
three around the corner. But yeah, it's summer. I mean, it's not at the forefront of our minds, like particularly whilst we're in the middle of this album too. But it's always there as a conscious thing because there's things that we were doing for album two, and then it's like, oh well, we might save this or I don't know, whatever. Who knows what'll happen? But yeah, it's something that's in everyone's mind. But at the minute, everyone's just on album two.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can well imagine. And your mind's also going to be on touring because you've got some shows coming up.
We've got loads of shows coming up. Yeah, we've just come off the first leg of the album tour, and then we're going into festival season, and then we've got the Kooks tour at the after festival season, and then we've got some European stuff and potential further afield in American stuff. So yeah,
Yeah,
we're busy.
good. Yeah, I'm sure. And you're going to be doing some kind of in stores, kind of album launches, stripped back shows. How do you cater your sets for those shows compared to when you're doing the full blown show?
So we've actually started a couple of these, right? And it's funny because we did one in like Oxford, and we've done a couple of places like Southampton down south, just on the initial sort of record shops. And we've come off stage and we've gone, oh, actually, that was brilliant because at the minute we've just come out of the big production tour with the lighting, the crew, the session musicians, everything on stage. And I think to sort of strip it back, it kind of comes a little bit more real sometimes, just like you and your guitar or like a couple of years playing. But I think, yeah, we cater it for it like we do. I don't know. We pick the songs selectively and what sound good acoustically. Some won't sound good. Some sounds better acoustically. So we kind of just cater it on that basis and yeah, just have a little bit more of a chilled vibe as opposed to running around the stage.
Yeah, yeah. Take a little bit of a break. And
Yeah.
you've got, as mentioned, the Cooks. You've got a couple of James shows coming up. And you've talked about possibly, probably some more European stuff. Are you hoping to book much else in this year, or do you think that's gonna kind of be it for this year?
Well, I know there's plans for after the Kooks tour to be doing some further afield shows, but it's very early stages at the minute on where that'll be exactly. But yeah, there's some exciting stuff happening after the Kooks tour, and no doubt 100 other shows will land on our doorstep. No, mate, that's the bulk of it. It's height of festival season. That well, we just kicked off in Neighbourhood last week, and then we're going to be doing the UK festival circuit. We're going to be doing a few in Europe, like Benicassim. There's one in Czech, and there's a few others. And then, yeah, back to the Kooks tour, and then possibly a further afield tour in November.
Nice. Hopefully, the States as well.
The States is the November planned, hopefully, if we get
Yeah.
over there. So
Is there
yeah, but
anywhere
yeah.
you've not been to yet that you want to get to?
I'd love to go to like Australia and Japan and that side of the world. I think that'd be amazing to sort of go and experience playing over there. Um, like I've heard great things about bands who have played there before, so I think that's on my tick list to do.
Sounds good to me. Ryan, it's been a pleasure having a catch up with you.
Nice one, mate.